Hello, I'm Ben Garrison, technical moderator and knowledge manager for the Zenith community here at Zscaler. And I know that many network and security professionals in the community have been wondering, how do I save money while improving security? And we're going to discuss how Zscaler and our Zenith community can help achieve those goals. So I'm joined by Jacob Serpa, a senior product marketing manager for Zscaler's Zero Trust Exchange, and he is located in Gilroy, California, and has been with Zscaler for over 2 years. Now, I know it might sound weird, but I'm a huge fan of operations and learning how organizations can operate as efficiently as possible. So I'm definitely looking forward to talking with Jacob. Jacob, thanks so much for taking the time to hang out. Can you tell us a little more about your experiences and what you do here at Zscaler?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Ben, it's good to be here with you. So I'm excited to have this conversation because my role, as you said, is product marketing for the Zero Trust Exchange. But most of my time goes to how that platform saves money for customers. So really relevant conversation for me here. And before coming to Zscaler, I worked for several years in CASB, SASE, SSE. So I've been in the space for a while and it's been a lot of fun.
That's great. Hey, thanks so much for sharing a little bit about yourself. Now, I know we are excited to talk about saving money and improving security. I know I have been this whole week, just waiting for this. But before we do, maybe you can tell us a little bit about why there is an increased attention to, well, frankly, saving money.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, saving money has always been important, right? But that's particularly so in this moment where we've had, COVID lockdowns and supply chain issues and inflation and recession concerns and all these different things that are creating a lot of economic uncertainty. And organizations are being tasked to do more, but with fewer resources. And unfortunately, cyber criminals are seeing this situation and they're seeing shrinking teams and budgets, particularly in security. And they're saying, I want to take advantage of that. And so they're going to great lengths to develop these increasingly sophisticated cyber threats that are constantly trying to breach the enterprise. And the added challenge here is that perimeter-based architectures, so hub and spoke networks, castle moat security models, they were designed for a time when users, apps, and data were all on premises. But that's obviously no longer the case. And so today, they increase not just risk, but costs in some pretty significant ways.
Yeah, I mean, so I know you mentioned that perimeter-based architectures are not doing a good job at keeping costs down or keeping up with the sophistication of cyber threats. So can you dive a little bit deeper into why perimeter-based architectures are failing?
Yeah, so before I even start, we have an ebook that's going to walk through this subject in some more detail. But in general, there are 6 key financial pain points of perimeter-based architectures. And then a zero trust architecture powered by Zscaler is actually going to be able to help alleviate those financial pain points. So you can read more about that in the ebook, and it has customer success stories and concrete stats and findings and those kinds of things to illustrate the savings that you can get from zero trust. But there are these 6 pain points, and the first one is technology costs. And so when organizations are backhauling traffic to the data center over these expensive MPLS links, that's going to cost a lot of money. And at the same time, their data centers are filled with all these different hardware appliances that are themselves very expensive and involve these rigid upfront capital expenditures. So those technology costs ratchet up pretty quickly. But when you have zero trust, you're able to have direct to app connectivity that lets you eliminate that backhauling. And that's why our customers on average can cut their MPLS spend in half. But you also get a comprehensive cloud security platform that lets you eliminate hardware appliances. And in fact, our customers can eliminate up to 90% of their hardware appliances. So we provide some key benefits that help with optimizing those technology costs. And operational efficiency is really tied up in those technology costs, because when you deploy a lot of hardware appliances, you have to do ongoing maintenance on a lot of hardware appliances. And when you deploy a lot of point products for security, that means you have a lot of disjointed dashboards that you have to pivot between to duplicate policy and generate reports and all that kind of stuff. So it takes a lot of time, and that means a lot of management overhead. But when you have zero trust, eliminating appliances in this way, you get to cut down on that maintenance. And when you have one platform that's consolidating point products, that means you're getting to cut down on those disjointed dashboards and simplify your operations. And so Zscaler customers actually on average, are able to free up about 74% of their admin's time, which is obviously a really significant number. The next is mergers and acquisitions, where there are some real cost considerations that are important, because prevailing wisdom would say when you have an M&A, you want to take the two networks and integrate them and make one big network where everybody can access everything that they need inside of that network. But that's a really complex undertaking, and a lot of things can go wrong. And so typically there's a lot of scope creep that delays the integration timeline, and it leads to more cost than was originally anticipated. But when you have Zero Trust, you can decouple security and connectivity from network access, and you can give users access directly to applications without having to put them on the network. And so our customers don't have to do network integration when there's a merger or acquisition. And so we're able to accelerate M&A time to value by about 50%, while cutting about 40% of related IT costs during M&A, which is a really helpful amount of savings. Now, next we have security posture, which is important in and of itself, of course, because you want to stop breaches. But when there's a breach, there are breach-related costs. So fines, legal fees, customer churn, brand damage, etc. And in a nutshell, when you have a perimeter-based architecture, you are expanding your attack surface and you're allowing compromise and lateral threat movement. And that's going to increase risk and the odds of a data breach. But when you have Zero Trust, you're doing just the opposite. You're minimizing your attack surface. You are stopping compromise and lateral threat movement. And so our customers on average can reduce ransomware attacks by 85% and phishing attacks by 80%. And that's going to go a long way towards stopping not just breaches, but breach-related costs. Now, productivity is also key because when you're backhauling traffic and you're routing traffic through a stack of appliances, it's adding a lot of latency into the user experience. And that's going to slow down productivity. But with Zero Trust eliminating that backhaul, you're going to be able to eliminate that latency. And Zscaler also optimizes the flow of traffic via the shortest path to its destination and has digital experience monitoring built directly into the platform. So we have some really strong benefits we provide around productivity. And that's why the average customer each year is able to recover about $5.2 million in productivity that otherwise would have been lost due to latency and poor user experiences and just user wait times. All right, now last but not least is carbon footprint, which is getting more and more attention these days, because when you have a lot of appliances, it means a lot of electricity is being required in order to power those appliances and also to power the cooling systems that keep them from overheating. And so the more electricity, the bigger your carbon footprint, the bigger your power bill. But when you have Zero Trust, as we've been talking about, you can eliminate those appliances to minimize those electricity requirements. And Zscaler has a highly efficient multi-tenant cloud, and it's powered by 100% renewable energy, and we're a carbon neutral company. So we're able to improve power usage effectiveness on average by about 50%. And so the way I like to say it is, whether you're looking to save the world or your wallet, we've got your back.
That's great. And it really sounds like Zscaler is in a great position to help organizations cut costs and improve their security posture. And I know this has been a lot of information in a very short period of time. So as Jacob mentioned, we did create that ebook, and it covers these topics and also showcases some successful stories from customers as well. Everyone knows I do enjoy a good ebook. So thanks, Jacob, so much for hanging out today. And I look forward to hearing more about how we at Zscaler are helping organizations do more with less. We will have a link to the ebook in the video description. And if you're watching this on the Zenith Community, I will be sure to include a link as well on the topic. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the community.